The podcast you are about to listen to is one of the many podcasts that is part of the College Huddle, the largest fan-led college sports podcast community on the internet. Fan-made, fan-driven, and fan-fueled. The College Huddle.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free!
Okay, next question.
I'm a horse football coach right now.
You know, it got shoved up, shoved it up. It got shoved, right?
Good afternoon, Spartan Savants. We are officially Kenneth Walker days away from kickoff. And before we get started here, I'm with my two esteemed colleagues, Travis and Wilson. I just want to ask you guys one question. Are you ready for football season?
Hell yeah.
I am more than ready. I will tell you, it's been a nice brisk chill in the mornings here in New York, like 55 degrees. The summer heat starting to acquiesce for that fall chill. And that's how I always know football season's right around the corner. Games this weekend, obviously not the Spartans, but it's like that itch. It will never go away. Life is just so much better when it's football season.
Agreed.
One thing I must say, for Travis and I in Dallas, the whole chill, cool, that is not happening.
Nope.
That
nope.
is not
Hey,
happening.
it was like 107 yesterday.
I think it's going to go away for us. Yeah.
The difference between my apartment and outside is way too much. So, just put it that way.
Cranking that AC.
Oh yeah. Actually, my AC died last week.
Oh
so
gosh.
I had to get it fixed. That was rough.
That's fun. That's
But
real.
I have been ready for football season since we hired Jonathan Smith. So
Yes.
Yeah, since we lost to James Madison, I've been ready for football.
That sounds about right.
But yeah, so today we're going to go through the schedule, kind of break down some key thoughts we have. Obviously, it's early in the season, so this could all mean nothing. We'll do our predictions win-loss. It'll be a great receipt section for later. But I guess first thing we can start with is Big Dooley himself, Chris Phillips, the redshirt sophomore, has officially been named the starting right guard. I don't know if anyone has any big thoughts on that. I just kind of thought that was already like known.
Yeah, that's surprising. It's not. I think I've always been a big fan of Gavin Brocious, so was hoping to see. I think it's good that it sounds like it was fairly competitive. I mean, to get announced this late, which is good. I think that we got a bright future there with Brocious. I think that right guard spot could be, interesting spot this year if there's, injuries or what have you, or if Phillips doesn't quite live up to it. But I no surprise there on my end. Like you said, Nicky, thought that was kind of the way the wind was blowing for a while. I think that he's probably the most experienced player that we have in that position with Brocious, especially being injured last year. So I mean, redshirt sophomore, definitely not the certainly not the most experienced on the line, but we'll see. That position, the offensive line in general is going to be a question mark all year. Hopefully, that gets better as the year goes on. But I think that's we're all a little wary of what that unit is going to bring to the table.
yeah. You hit on it. Phillips got some reps last year. It looked pretty good. Whereas Brocious has had some injuries in the past, especially with those knees. So that probably held him up a little bit. But it's just good to see that, one, somebody was able to take charge of the starting spot, and two, that it was close enough that it seems like we have some depth at that spot, because we haven't really had any depth along the offensive line pretty much since we were in school there. So it'll go a long way.
Agreed.
Definitely. So yeah, I mean it's interesting that they announced that, just because it's not like every position gets starters announced. He's just the quarterback. But thought that was kind of random. But I guess let's just let's get into it. Let's start with Friday, August 30th. Michigan State plays Florida Atlantic. The Tom Herman coached team down in Florida somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Boca Raton.
Boca Raton. Nice campus.
VR. So yeah, I guess we'll start with Winston here. What are your got any thoughts, predictions on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a team that is coming off a 4-8 season. I think the Tom Herman factor is hard to ignore. I've always quietly been a fan of his. Those Ohio State offenses were juggernauts when he was running them. He obviously didn't quite have the success that many expected at Texas. It hasn't really had too much success at Florida Atlantic, albeit in a shorter stint. But going to announcing quarterbacks, they just announced their starting quarterback, Cam Fancher, who is a transfer from Marshall, I believe. He also brought along with his top target, Caleb Coombs. I haven't watched much of Fancher. I've just read about him just today. 65% completion percentage last year, 11 TDs, also turned the ball over, had 11 interceptions. Seems like, he's 6'1", 195. Seems like he's that athletic quarterback that's still a little unpolished. But those are the quarterbacks that can give you lots of problems. I don't know where he's at in terms of growth, but, obviously the 11 interceptions is encouraging. But, new offense, new system, new coaching. Who knows what they kind of have done to be able to polish him. I definitely think the Tom Herman factor is hard to ignore. I mean, that's a good quarterback or an athletic quarterback with that type of offensive mind. I'd like to say this could be a cakewalk, and I think it should be. But who knows what? I think we have as much question marks as anybody. So I expect this to be a win for the team, but definitely very anxious to see what the team looks like Friday night. Maybe can't wait.
Yeah, I think you hit a nail on the head with the Tom Herman stuff. I mean, he's been an offensive guru at the college level everywhere he's been. And I mean, even at FAU, they haven't quite lived up to expectations, but he's still put together a decent unit. I mean, they didn't have a good year last year, but before that, they were still doing pretty well. And those years at Texas, he would have anywhere else except for like the big national brands, he probably would have stuck around even longer. Just the way he was, just the way things were going. But that's how things work in Texas. And as far as Fancher goes, I saw him play one time and he got benched. So that doesn't tell you quite a lot. I mean, Woodson, like you said, he is the unpolished kind of mobile quarterback that could give you some kind of trouble. But at the same time, that comes with those inconsistencies that can give us extra possessions and just kind of turn the game in our favor if we put enough pressure on him. And he does have a couple other – I think there was another receiver that came over there from Marshall too. So there's a little bit of continuity in their passing game. We'll just have to see how that shapes out. And defensively – well, stick on offensive first. They have a running back that played at UMass and was at Michigan before that. So I thought that was interesting. And defensively, there's two guys back from their defense. So ripe for the picking, I guess.
Seriously. I think we all want every game to be a blowout. So saying hopefully this game's a blowout isn't really saying much. I think we just need to see encouraging signs. Obviously, the first game of the year can always be kind of weird, especially with a brand new coach, pretty much half a brand new team. They can start slow. We're no stranger to that in our best and worst years. Any team's no stranger to that at times. But if we aren't letting the receivers just run down the field, that would be very encouraging. Having our offense stay on the field for more than like a quarter of the game against a really bad team would be very encouraging. Just don't stay healthy. Don't fall on your ass. I think this game's going to be a win.
Yeah, should be.
I agree.
Okay.
Take care of business. We're all projecting a win for this one.
So next week we will be at College Park. That is a pretty big day. Did not think we were going to have a Big Ten game that day when I took my wedding. Really hoping we would have had Prairie View that weekend. So that's nice.
Yeah, Nicky, you're lucky you're a good friend because it goes against one of my top rules: no weddings during football season.
Yep.
But you know what? I think a lot of people looking at that date would have not guessed that there'd be a Big Ten game that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hands up. Well, anyway, when it comes to the game, Willie, what are you thinking? Start us off here.
Well, Maryland's had our number the past 2 years. It's a team that traditionally has not been a problem for Michigan State, but obviously, given our struggles over the past 2 years, they've certainly taken care of business against us. One thing I think is I don't know, saving grace seems a little dramatic, but a positive is the departure of Talia Tagovailoa. When he was quarterback, they were throwing the ball all over the place, and that just was not a great matchup against our weak defensive backfield. Hopefully, that will change. They've got a little bit of a quarterback battle going on. Billy Edwards Jr. started their bowl game last year. And then the other guy is MJ Morris. Yeah, transfer from NC State. I think he started like 7 games there. I'm expecting that Edwards will be the guy. I don't know much about him. I haven't seen him play. I'd be lying to you if I said I watched the whatever bowl game Maryland was in last year. But I think that's a tall order to replace that quarterback. I think they're a team that's coming in with question marks too. I think Loxley is kind of got them to a place where they're a respectable team, but they haven't been able to really, jump past that 7-6, 6-6 type 7-5, 7-6 season. So I think it's going to be another game that MSU should win. I think going on the road is not ideal, but they're going to do it eventually. But Michigan, look at some of the other teams in the conference, they don't leave their home field until like late October. So, it'll be interesting to see. Again, this is a total coin flip for me. I really have no idea what to expect. I would have a much firmer prediction after I see what we look like against Florida Atlantic, but I think it's a win. Maybe it's optimistic. Maybe it's maybe it's the dying Spartan in me, but I think it's a win.
If I'm Maryland, I'm starting Morris over Edwards, by the way. Just my opinion, because he's the more, especially with the trouble that we've had with Talia the past couple of years, Morris is the more comparable athletic mobile quarterback, even though he's got the smaller sample size and everything. And he's played for a team that was, for all intents and purposes, competing for a little bit short of a conference championship. With NC State, they've always been competitive, but never been right there at the top. But this is going to be a game for us that is very key on the secondary, because not only do you have that possibility of the more mobile quarterback, but you also have I think their top 3 receivers or 3 of their top 4 receivers are back this year, and that's always been a good passing game. That's been something that's given us trouble, and they're all big. They're all 6'2", 6'3", and that's something that you really got to fight up, really battle against. And then even when you do get that, they have a running back who went over 1,000 yards. Hold on.
Yeah, I think this is a game.
Yeah, solid running back. Yeah, running back who had had over 900 yards and 10 touchdowns 2 years ago. So it's not one dimensional by everything, even though they're all more passing. So it's definitely not going to be an easy game, especially over in College Park.
Yeah, I think it's a game where Joe Rossi's got to kind of show us why we pay him the big bucks.
Good point.
The DBs are going to step up, no doubt.
Yeah,
they can't be 130th again. Can't do it.
Here's the thing: brand new staff. They're losing like almost their entire O-line. Mike Loxley's a fraud. We're not losing on my wedding day. We're going to win this game. Like, that's really all I've got there. We're going to hopefully not, again, if our defense doesn't just let the receivers do whatever they want, that's a big game changer for us. I think we are going to win this game, and we'll feel very good for after this weekend. Next game, Prairie View. We're winning that game. Is anything you guys have anything to say about Prairie View?
No, I mean, pull the starters. Stay healthy.
Yeah, I watched them lose 69-0 to SMU last year. Couldn't find, when you go to their website, on their team website, when you click on stats, it goes to the schedule. So that'll tell you a lot. They have a pretty good band, but that's it. Yeah, that should be a win.
Yeah. I mean, look, even last year we were blowing out these kind of teams. Next, who cares? Yeah. All right, Boston College.
Really quick, I didn't get I was playing with my headphones. I didn't get official prediction on the Maryland game for either of you two.
I said when.
Oh, I'll say when.
Okay.
I never actually said it, but I alluded to it. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Carry on.
So next one, we play the legendary ACC school, Boston College, coached by Bill O'Brien in his first year at this job. Obviously, he's an actual person. He's a real name. He's been around multiple leagues. Willy, start us off.
Yeah, I think at a quick glance, Boston College when projected win total or Vegas has their over under at 4.5. Similar to us, I think that a lot of people are going to think, Boston College, not a big time football school, not an opponent we have to worry about. Obviously, Bill O'Brien has had success at the college level, and at the pro level for that matter. This is not a team I think we should look past. They have a returning quarterback, Thomas Castellanos, threw a lot of picks last year, which bodes well for us, but he also ran for 1,100 yards and 13 TDs, gave FSU fits, ripped up SMU in the bowl game. So definitely a challenging task for the defense with that type of threat at quarterback. Hopefully, we get the version of him that throws picks. But in any version of that game is going to be a tough task for the defense. Having said that, I don't know if you guys have looked at the Boston College schedule to start the season. They go to FSU for their first game. Then they play Duquesne, Cupcake, but then they go to Missouri for their third game. So they're going to be pretty beaten up or tested by the time they get to that Saturday in Boston. But that could also be, a team that's 1-2, that's desperate for a win, playing a team that they probably feel pretty confident they can beat. So again, this is a tall task for Michigan State, but I think it's a game they should win, and I think they will win.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what that team looks like under Bill O'Brien, because they've got talent on there. You mentioned Castellanos. He was he's a turnover machine, but last year he was the first Boston College quarterback ever to throw for 2,000 and run for 1,000 in a season. So that you got a dynamic playmaking quarterback like that. Although he's really short, he's only 5'9", so maybe we can give him the Russell Wilson treatment or something. But they also have a couple really good transfer receivers that are in there that are a little different than what they're used to. Jaron Bradley was the leading receiver for Texas Tech 2 years ago. All Big 12 receivers, so that's no slouch there. Their running backs, I mean, one of them went for 8 touchdowns last year, 780 total yards, and then the other one was Treshaun Ward, transferred in from Kansas State, but started his career at Florida State, and he's run for over 500 yards in this season 3 times with at least 5 touchdowns in a season a couple times. So, I mean, they have some talent on there that's going to be kind of difficult to deal with if we start overlooking them, no matter how well they start their season with that tough schedule that you mentioned. But I do think we pull that one out. Just a hunch.
This game definitely with Bill O'Brien will be a good way for Jonathan Smith to kind of lick his chops and get the coaching hat out. Good test, playing real coach, real out of conference team. We're in Boston, which is not ideal. I could see this just because I could see this one being a loss. Just think 3 good games in a row. We could just get out coach. Aiden Childs is young. He could have an off game. I just feel like with a place like this, we've been traveling. This will be our second away game, second time on the East Coast. Could just be a little more tired, more beat. And Boston College could just be insanely desperate. Also, imagine if they're like 3-0 going into it. That would be insane.
Yeah.
That would be scary.
That'd be rough.
Yeah, scary. One thing to consider, and I totally agree with you on the Bill O'Brien part of it. They're going to be a well-coached team. We know that. One thing I'll say, and it's a road game. There's travel, but I do think that there will be a strong Spartan presence, given the just the East Coast alumni base that they have, whether it's coming from New York or Boston or the surrounding areas. I think that'll be a strong Spartan crowd there to cheer on the boys. I'm planning to be there along with our good friend Mikey and maybe even Derek the Menace Malakowski. So, yeah. So I just think my gut tells me there'll be a good green and white crowd there. But great point on the young quarterback Aiden Childs going on the road for the second time against the Power 5 team. Is the Power 5 still thing, or is it Power 4 now? I don't even know.
Power 4. It's Power 4. Yeah.
That's
Power 4 writing. So
that quarterback makes me nervous. I mean, the interceptions. I mean, we could throw the ball over a ton, but if their offense doesn't score any points, it really doesn't matter too much. So we'll see.
If we lose this game after Rutgers last year, you guys are seriously banned.
Big time.
Seriously banned.
Yeah, they're only allowed to attend games at the big house.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, Nick, you got this one as a loss for us?
I'm talking on as now.
Travi.
Yeah, I said I think we're going to win it, but they're very, very not totally confident in that one.
Yeah, that's one where I think, I'm hoping if, starters can rest second half versus Prairie View, come in well rested for that one.
Yeah,
they're coming off 2
nice.
tough games in 3 weeks, but we'll see.
Yes. So, next week. Next week we get to play our friends down in Columbus, Ohio State. Willy.
Yeah, I mean, it's
where do we go here?
What obviously I'm not going to sit up here and tell you we're going to win. They've had our number. I mean, you talk about Maryland having our number. Ohio State's had our number for the better part of 5 years.
Literally 10 years. They have not won since we were in school.
Yeah. So, and the last few games really haven't been close. I mean, we're talking about over by the end of the first quarter type losses.
Yep.
One thing I'll say, this Ohio State team, from the coach to the team in general, has a lot of pressure. I mean, a lot of people are picking them to win the national championship. They chased out a pretty strong quarterback to recruit. We're bringing a quarterback that is okay. I mean, Will Howard, that's who it is, right? He's fine. And I think that, Ryan Day and that staff probably will make it work with him. But that staff and that team in general just has a lot of pressure on them. And this could be a slip up chance. Having said that, I think this will be a loss. I just hope that it can be a game in the third quarter. Let's lose by 14 instead of 50.
Yeah, I don't want to be leaving wherever I'm watching it at halftime or watching Nicky pour beer on his head at halftime. Anyway, and they brought in Chip Kelly as their offensive coordinator now too. Right. So that's going to be interesting, especially with their running backs they got. I mean, Henderson himself is already good, and then you bring in Judkins from the SEC. who all SEC running back. I mean, they're loaded once again, and it's going to be very, very difficult for us to do anything. So hopefully we keep. I mean, Howard's there. They got two receivers back. They got those running backs. They got the tight end.
Brought in Caleb Downs.
Yeah, they brought in Caleb Downs. They got
mean,
4 other starters back on defense at least. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about right. Going through key players and stuff. I practically wrote down the entire roster. It's there's a reason they're number 2, and there's a reason that all that pressure is on them to win the championship. And you don't have to go any further than just looking through their roster and their depth chart. They've got guys, second and third stringers that would have been starters for us probably. Yeah. So
yeah, let's just say it how it is. This Ohio State team is built to fuck. And we are just not.
No, that's not. It's not going to be close.
Look, I do think this will be a game that we will watch the entire. We will be able to watch the entire game without wanting to die, and that's progress.
That's right. Progress.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if they lose by 14, I think you give Smith a contract extension.
If we cover,
if
we cover, I mean, that is nice. Next off in our little trail of horrors is at Oregon in Eugene. Willy, if you want to give us your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a loss too. I look at this game as very similar to Ohio State. Oregon is another team that is coming in with a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations, but they have the talent to warrant that. Again, new quarterback, probably a Heisman favorite. Dylan Gabriel. I mean, obviously we know what he did at Oklahoma last year. Very impressive, very athletic. Is going to cause problems for every defense they play. So, I don't even want to know what's going to do to that Michigan State defense. If that defensive line can't get pressure on him, that defensive backfield doesn't hold up, they're going to have a field day. Autzen, very tough place to play as well, especially coming off a really tough game against Ohio State, which I really think that this is why the first 4 games are so important because, these next 4 games, there's no let up. And I really don't have much else to say. This is probably going to be a pretty tough Saturday for us.
It's a Friday.
How
dare you?
I think potential to. Oh, well, see, that's an even bigger problem for me. But we'll save that for another show. I think this loss has the potential to be worse than Ohio State.
Yeah, I agree. I think going into the season, I'm higher on Oregon than I am on Ohio State. So, I mean, they've got the more mobile quarterback out of the two. They got dynamic. I mean, they were there in the thick of it last year. And I mean, you bring in our track record against teams on the West Coast on true road games. I'm pretty sure the last time we won was 1959, if I remember that correctly. So it could get ugly. Gabriel's good. They're stacked at receiver. I mean, they had the 1,000-yard receiver in Tez Johnson last year. Then they also have Trayshawn Holden as Bama transfer, and then they bring in Evan Stewart, who was one of the top recruits in the country. Didn't quite live up to expectations at A&M, but I think that was mostly the way the coaching staff was and how A&M just kind of fell off the past couple of years. I mean, those 3 receivers catching the ball from Dylan Gabriel is just unfair, and you don't even talk about the running backs or the offensive line or the defense at that point.
So, that's a loss, I'm guessing.
Yes.
There's a man named Jonathan Smith. He used to coach Oregon State. He used to play at Oregon State. He's a West Coast kind of guy. He's very comfortable in that area. We have a quarterback from the West Coast, up-and-coming guy, Aiden Childs. You know what? They both really don't like Oregon. They really both don't like Oregon. Some people have called Jonathan Smith the duck killer, a duck hunter. And Oregon plays Ohio State the next week. And they might just think we're a little bloop on the radar.
Might be looking ahead.
Nice.
I'm glad you brought that up because
I think the Spartans are going to win that game. Coming down
Oh, wow.
for a W.
wow.
Leave it to Nicky to make the crazy pick.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I did not even think about that connection. I mean, obviously, there is a little chip on the shoulder there, probably both for Childs and Jonathan Smith. So that's certainly something to think about. It's kind of a bummer. Like when I think about this game, I think back to those 2013, 2014 games that we had with them. And those were just so big and monumental and exciting. I really hope this one lives up to that. Just because those games just, I feel like the one we lost, the one we won, it was like the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. And I love those games. I love when everything's on the line and it's a big game like that. So hopefully, maybe you're right, Nicky. I'm still going to project a loss, but that's an interesting angle that I didn't think about.
Yes. So next week we have a bye. We will be just chilling. There's a great slate that week. That'll be fun. But then we're off to Iowa. I think that one is at home, correct?
That is at home. Yes.
So that is Iowa at home. Coming
Thank
off a
God.
bye. What are you thinking, Willy?
Yeah, I mean that bye is going to be big. This is a game I don't know. I don't know what to expect from Iowa. Obviously offensively they've just been a disaster over the past couple of years. New OC for them. I don't know who the starting quarterback is. If it's the guy that played us in the second half last year,
I think it's Cade McNamara.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think even less of him than I do the other guy. So I think of this, as one of a few, as we get kind of into the meat of the season here, there's a couple of games that I flagged as revenge games. It's kind of a revenge game for me. I really think they should have won that Iowa game last year.
Agreed.
I think there were the players that are returning from that team got to kind of come in with a little attitude in this one. That really is a game that they should have won, and it would have been a nice win to have last year. 5-7 is not that different from 4-8, but a win at Kinnick I think would have changed our feelings at least a little bit. They let that one slip away. I think the team that has the more talent is MSU, but I think the better all around football team from top to bottom in terms of special teams, defense, and offense is probably Iowa. But sometimes the talent can outplay that. So this is one I'm going to project a loss, but I definitely think a winnable game for sure.
Yeah, I think the difference last year was, well, first off, there's no Cooper DeJean to bail them out this time.
Right.
And then also the terrible quarterback play. I mean, we had countless drives. We didn't score an offensive touchdown in that game, but we had plenty of drives into their territory that we didn't finish off.
Turnovers.
So hopefully, yep. So hopefully, and we had to rely on Jonathan Kim knocking down 54, 55 yarders,
Yeah.
So that alone, I mean, the stability with Aiden Childs at quarterback should help a little bit. We don't know yet what we're getting from the outside playmakers. I'm sure we had a little sense of it last year, but so it's a new season. So I still think it's not going to quite be enough. I still see a loss here just because Iowa's defense is that good year in and year out. But like you said, it's winnable. I don't think this is the year that we pull it out.
Nice to be at home. I think that at Kinnick is always really tough. So I think if there's any reasons to look for a win here, I think being at home helps a lot too.
Well, then on the opposite side of that, there's the positivity of how well we played them at Kinnick last year in those circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys sure you guys want losses? You still have time to change. I'm also going to say a loss just because, again, Iowa's famous for their defense. They have a smothering defense always. They're consistent. I mean, it's the same team every year. Brian Fernandez is doing it for since we've been born, basically. He Could just be a lot for a young QB, just a young team in general, not that experienced. After the obvious emotional win at Oregon, put that one down for now, for me. And next week will be
week, baby.
against them. Willy, start us out.
The cheaters.
Yeah, I mean, this is always a big one. I think this rivalry means a lot for everybody. Obviously, Spartan fans across the world. You always think that throw the records out the window, however you want to say it. It certainly hasn't been the case the past 2 years. I think, again, on the road, just after such a tough stretch of football, it's going to be hard for the Spartans to pull this one out. Interesting to see how Coach John Smith handles the first taste of this rivalry. Really, same with Aiden Childs and a lot of the guys on the team. I feel like we're a couple years away from having like that chip on our shoulder type deal that we had with D'Antonio, but I do feel like Coach Smith is kind of that type of cut from that same cloth. I don't think this is the year that his success will start. Unfortunately, I think it's just too tall of an order being on the road at the big house. One thing I'll say, Michigan, lots of question marks. I think that a lot of people are down on them. I don't think that that's a team that's going to go 5-7. I think probably more like 9-3. But big question mark at the quarterback position. I mean, this guy Orji that we've heard all about. Of course, it sounds like he's not that good. He's only attempted one pass in his career. So there's a battle at quarterback between him, Davis Warren. I guess Jack Tuttle was in it, but now it sounds like he's no longer really in consideration. So I mean, they're new coach for them as well, albeit he was on staff last year. But certainly some question marks. They lost a lot. We'll see kind of what they've got going on. But could be one of those surprise wins. That would be amazing. But I'm gonna throw down for an L here.
Yeah, great points there. I have a lot of questions with them everywhere except for running back and on their defense. So I think Michigan's incredibly overrated right now. I think they're due for a step back. We're probably not going to be a great team this year. They're probably still the better team if we're being honest. But Nicky asked me a couple months ago on the show if we were going to beat Michigan, and I'm going to double down on my answer, surprisingly. And yes, I'm going to pull this one out.
Hell yeah!
I like
just
it.
Bring it up. Yeah,
bold.
Yeah. I didn't know I was going to do that till you started talking. So,
hell yeah!
But yeah, just set the tone of the rivalry for Johnny Smith there, and I think we could be a couple years away, sure, but they're incredibly more beatable than they have been in the past few years. So why not take advantage of it?
Sure. I like it.
Yeah. Willy, I mean, come on. Let's just get the record straight here. We have we have Sharon Moore's first year as a head coach.
God, I hate that guy.
Crying Johnny, as we call him.
Their
schedule is hard. I mean, we have a tough stretch of football, but they have Washington, USC, Texas. Like, they're going to be beaten. Alex Orji.
No faith in Orji.
I'm
with you there.
Leave it there. Alex Orji just probably won't be great. I think their O-line's pretty much all new. I'm sure they'll still be good because they have a lot of experience as backup. Still going to be a great O-line. Their defense is legit. I mean, Will Johnson, they're going to be great. But, I mean, what's something I was going to say? Oh, first of all, when he said you had an answer about Donovan Edwards, the answer is like, yeah, I don't know if he's that good. Like, he's good for a couple of big plays, but
I'm not saying he's the Heisman Trophy winner or anything. He's just obviously their top running back. And he's shown skill when he's healthy. They also have one other guy returning behind him that played pretty well last year too. So
Will he be
it's
healthy,
more
though?
it's more that's the key question. It's more of I've seen this before when compared to like you haven't seen the other guys see the field.
Fair. I also think on the road at the big house is not that big a deal. I mean, it's a freaking library. Like,
It's the library.
Country club.
I mean, as many Spartan fans that want to come in can get in. Like, there's always a big Spartan presence there. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just a great way, again, with that little brother Jonathan Smith chip on your shoulder dynamic that he just kind of was bred with. I just think it's just there's one game that's circled on the calendar every year. For Michigan, it's just not us, unfortunately. But for us, we're going to be giving everything we got.
This one.
And if we beat Michigan, it's going to be a good season. And it's going to be a good season. So we're going to beat Michigan.
I agree. I'm with you. Everything you're saying is not wrong. I really, what I think about this team is they could go 6-6, but I think it's going to be a 6-6 where they pull out a win. Whether like one of these 4 games, they might just go. They could win, right? I'm not going to pick them to win any of these 4 games. I just think it's too hard, too tough a stretch of football. Too many question marks with the team, but I do think that it's a team that could absolutely surprise in some of these games. Where last year just no show in these big games. I think there's a lot of talent, and I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing and hearing. So I'm not totally. I don't think you guys are going that crazy with this pick. I'm with you. The big house, not the toughest place to play. Lots of question marks for this Michigan team. So I hope you guys are right.
I got a quick question for you.
Please.
Do you think Aiden Childs is bitch made?
No,
you don't think
absolutely not.
You don't think he can go into the big house, give Will Johnson a quick knuckle sandwich and say, "This is my house."
Look, Aiden Childs, I have all the faith in the world in Aiden Childs.
This is my
absolutely.
house, motherfucker.
No questions asked. Just keep him alive.
Yes,
against Ohio State, Iowa, and Oregon, and we got a chance.
You don't think Touchdown Tommy could do a quick little, Aiden might be out for a game. He's a mobile guy. Touchdown comes in, does a little quick 4-touchdown game. I got the fan fiction written. I love it. I can elaborate on that later in the season.
I can't wait to hear it. We're
going to need to hear some of those stories on the air, I think.
But next week, the week following, and also one last thing with Michigan. No Connor Stallions. Hello.
True.
But I mean, I don't know. Ward could bring him back. I mean,
in a heartbeat. Yeah.
But all right. But let's move on to the next one. Indiana's going to be an interesting one, I think. Willy, start us off here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, another team with a new coach. A lot of excitement around this hire. I feel like not just from Indiana people, but across the board, really from all of college football. Tough to anticipate what that team's going to look like. It's not a team that I know much about already to begin with. I think back to the one game, not last year, but the season before. Obviously, that was one of the tougher losses that we've experienced. To me, this is another game where I look at the two teams and there's more talent on our side. And I just think you got to go win this one. 2 new coaches, new to the Big Ten. This is just talent has to take over, and MSU has to win this way. Has to win this game. It's at home, rivalry game, old brass spittoon. Bring it back to East Lansing and get it done. I think it's just a simple must win.
East Lansing.
Yeah, we won it last year.
Oh, that was a game we won last year.
Yeah,
oh.
Yeah.
I didn't even. You know what? I'm just so used to losing.
I mean, fair enough.
That's very fair.
Shows you.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, Willie, you hit it exactly right. We're the more talented team. Their coach is, he has a good track record bringing in James Madison over, and their quarterback was the MAC Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year a couple years ago, one of the all-time leaders in Ohio University history. But after that, there's not much to say about them, and I never project us losing to Indiana. Yeah, so there's the brass platoon's coming home or staying home. God damn. I did it too. Yeah.
That's my bad.
All right. So I have a few things to say. Obviously got the Sigman from James Madison coming over to Indiana. I think it's like Kurt Sigmon or something.
Serengeti,
Kirk Signetti. Yeah.
Signetti,
I was
something
not
like
even
that.
close. He was really good at James. He was really good at James Madison. Obviously, I could see this. I have a couple reasons why I think this might be a loss. Number one is because I chose us to beat Michigan and Oregon, so I feel like I kind of have to give us a bad loss. So I'm going to use this one. And number two, this could be their big rivalry. I know technically Purdue's their biggest rivalry, but whatever. Like they blow, they might not really care about them. Like this is the old Rasputin. This could be a good Michigan State team. Like this could be another one that we might be looking like. We're coming off an emotional win at Michigan, which will be happening, and Indiana might just be also tough stretch of football for us too. And Indiana might just be ready to go. They would know that beating a good Michigan State team would set this coach off to a great start, getting a rivalry trophy at home. So I think that's going to be a loss for us, unfortunately. And one other thing, I heard a comparison saying that it would be that Indiana this year would be like taking a fun and good Sun Belt team in the Big Ten, and that sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, one thing I'll say, that is, I think that coach did a great job at James Madison.
Yeah.
This is Big Ten football is not what's that's a totally different world. So I'd like to think that Jonathan Smith can prepare the team and outcoach and use the talent to win this one. But Trav, you've got us at 6-3. Nick and I both have it 5-4. So we're bowl eligible in Trav's predictions. I thought I was going to be one of the more optimistic people.
Oh, it's coming.
4-0 start, but
oh no. All right, so Illinois.
The negativity is coming. Don't worry.
Illinois. Willy.
Yeah, I mean, this is another, to me, just a must-win game. Illinois had some success a couple years ago. It's one of those games. It's like Trav said, I'm never going to pick us to lose against Illinois. I'd be lying to you if I knew their roster up and down. It's just one of those games. I just think you got to go in and win. Again, this is where the talent has to overcome whatever adversity or whatever they face. The talent is on our side of the ball and on both sides, defense and offense, and you just have to rely on the talent to be better than theirs and win the game. I really don't know much about Illinois football this year. I was trying to cram before the show, but I spent a lot of time on Maryland, so Maryland and Boston College, so didn't get to Illinois.
Get at the beginning. Is that one at home or on the road?
It is at Illinois.
That's what I was afraid of. Yeah, I'll pick us to lose that one. I feel crazy picking a loss against Illinois, but we tend to not play our best games over there. They've definitely had some comebacks against us, even when we were the more talented team in the past. Not going to mention any specific things. Yeah. They've got some guys that transferred in there from the SEC, number two transfer corner in the country. I'm sure that's going to help them a little bit, but I just get a gut feeling that this is going to be one of those games where we should win, that we don't show up.
Oh, that's lovely. So Illinois.
Told you the negativity was coming.
Illinois football is coached by Brett Bielema. That is all I know about Illinois football. We are going to win this game. So next week we will be playing at Purdue, or maybe Purdue. No, I think it's at Purdue.
It is at it's at home.
Nice. We're playing Purdue at home. Willy?
Yeah, to me, this is another must-win game. It's kind of like you said, Nick. They blow. They got us in that 2021 year. It's a team that I don't think very highly of. When I think of Purdue, I think of basketball. I don't think of football. And it's just you're at home versus a lesser team. It's another one. I just think you go out and win. There's no reason not to for the Spartans not to win this game. by this time, Aiden Childs, the offensive line, offense in general should be humming.
Yep.
Getting used to each other in full stride. I just don't see us losing to Purdue at home.
Not even just the offense. Like everybody should be clicking on both sides. Have the
as long as we're
systems down
healthy.
and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and being at home helps tremendously. Revenge for 2021. Spartans win.
Yeah. I mean, again, I know nothing about Purdue. I just know they blow. So we're going to win. And if we didn't, again, this is revenge for 2021. If we didn't lose to Purdue in 2021, our whole Michigan nightmare may have never happened because they wouldn't have gone to the Big Ten championship. It just, it just wouldn't have. It would have been nice to have won 11 games the regular season.
Yeah.
And we're winning this game. All right.
It's all Purdue's fault.
Yes, exactly. And we're going to get them back for that this year. And the final game of the regular season, Michigan State plays Rutgers at home, I believe.
Yep.
Play Rutgers at home. Willy, the New York native.
Yes. So I've got this one earmarked as another revenge game. A lot of people are coming in high on Rutgers. And I don't want to take away from anything that Schiano's done over there. They have done a really nice job. Obviously, they lost their quarterback, Wimsatt. He transferred to Kentucky. I thought he was a huge pain in our ass last year, especially in the second half of that game. But they still have Monungai. I mean, he is a problem. He's going to be tough to stop. And there's a reason that people are high on Rutgers. Schiano, like I said, has done a great job. I think that they could easily win 8 games. I don't think they're going to rattle off 10, 11 wins. But what he's done there is very impressive. They're a very tough out, and I fully expect them to be that. But again, a little bit of a revenge game. I think that this is one where the players that were there last year in New Brunswick for that game, you got to have a little fire up your ass and win this one. This is truly payback because another game that should not have slipped away. There was no reason that we should have lost that game. Stupid mistakes. And that's 2 games, Iowa and that Rutgers game. That's 6-6 right there. Then you're playing in a bowl game in a season that was a total disaster. We still easily could have made a bowl game. So I think you just got to. This is going to be Big Ten football. It's going to be almost December, November 30th in East Lansing. This is going to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Probably will be snowing. And you just got to strap on, the coffee's got to be a little hotter. The shoes got to be tied a little tighter. The shoulder pads strapped a little tighter. And this is going to be big boy football. And I think that bodes well for the Spartans. I want to take a win here.
That was basically everything that I was thinking going into this. I'm not one of those people high on Rutgers, particularly at that quarterback that transferred I can't even say his name right now.
Yeah.
From Minnesota. Never. I don't think they upgraded there. I think they downgraded there.
I agree.
But Monungai is crazy good, and we saw what he did to us last year. Our run defense is going to have to be phenomenal during that game. Yeah. Having said all that, I feel like I've been a little too positive with my picks, and especially picking us against Michigan. So I'm gonna unfortunately mark that one down as an L. I hate doing it, but I gotta. There's gonna be
reasonable.
Some game along the line. Yeah.
I'm looking at 8-4, and I'm like, how did I get here?
Yeah,
it seems way too generous. But Schiano's got tricks up his sleeve. That onside kick last year still gives me fucking nightmares.
Yeah. He's a tremendous coach. They're just not a program known for winning, except when he's there. So that's.
Yeah. Did we lose Nicky?
I have no idea. It's like he's loading. AI Nicky.
I said that a couple of times in this episode. Yeah, I feel like looking at 8-4. There's just no way that's going to happen. I think probably that if I could go back, that Illinois. I don't know. Probably one of the Illinois Rutgers.
There he is.
I think 7-5.
6-6. I was staring 8-4 in the face too, and I'm like, that's too positive.
Yeah,
for year one. Yeah, that's getting way too close to our ceiling for year one.
Right.
What was our ceiling the Kenneth Walker year? You never know.
True.
You never really know. I think Rutgers is going to be a win as well. I think this is a just ultimate revenge game. Like we had them dead to rights last year.
Yep.
We just
Oh yeah,
we're not
that
losing
was
game, okay.
that was a score away from being a blowout win for Michigan State.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it literally was a blowout win for Michigan State until it wasn't.
It's a couple first downs,
but
away,
they didn't.
probably.
Yeah. The other score would have put it over the top, though.
Yeah, no question. That was a tough one.
Oh, God, that one makes me mad.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you were there.
Yeah, and the weather was so awful, god awful. This has just got to be. They got to come for blood in this one. There's no reason to lose to Rutgers 2 years in a row at home. Last game of the season. It's going to be Michigan State football weather, Big Ten football weather. Rutgers, I'm still not really sure that I acknowledge that they're part of the Big Ten. So it's just a game you got to go out and win. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. We know why I went where I went.
Yeah. I'm sitting here too. Like there's no way. I mean, 8-4 just seems way too generous. I feel like I'm wearing my Homer hat right now. But I mean, 8-4 would be a great season. That's definitely the ceiling. I think
that's Big Ten Coach of the Year material.
I agree.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And maybe it'll happen.
Gosh, I hope so. It would be nice to be playing meaningful games. Mm-hmm. Late in the year at least.
I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll win a couple games. We'll be 8-3, and Rutgers will be 8-3 going to that last game. It'll be a spot. It'll be a play-in for the 12th spot in the playoffs.
Oh gosh, come on. I can't wait to read this fan fiction.
Yeah, really. That's what I was going to say. Fan fiction at its finest.
Yeah, that's good. Those four games that Ohio State, Oregon, Iowa, Michigan stretch is just so tough. I feel like if they could steal one game, that could totally flip the season into a different realm.
Yeah, I had us going 0-4 in there before we started recording, and then something just happened.
In the heat of the moment, you can never pick against Michigan.
It can change
you never pick to lose to Michigan. It's just too hard. All right, let's. So we're all 8. We have us all at 8-4.
Travis has 7-5.
Okay,
the realist,
devil's advocate. Yeah.
Hopefully these at least feel and play by week 5, and we're not
that'd be nice.
We're winning 3 games this year.
Look, those first 4 games are very important. You go 4-0 in that stretch,
then
and then
good.
you steal one.
Then we're Gucci.
Yeah, then you steal one out of that 4-game hellhole, and who knows? Who knows where you go from there.
Yeah. All right. So I guess next up we can just this will be a quick segment. Just catch up with some of the transfers. Just gonna go through a couple. I think we know Jaden Mangum is a backup at Michigan. Don't ever want to really talk about him again.
What a loser.
Nice.
Derek Harmon, I love this. He said that he went to Oregon because they have better depth and he won't play as many snaps. That's what you love to hear. That's what you love to hear a player. He wants to play less.
I mean, what the hell? What? Doesn't he want to play on Sundays? What kind of who's drafting that guy?
Yeah, draft stock just went down about 4 or 5 rounds with that one.
Dumb
at least.
Thing to say.
Yeah, but that I love the thing that Nicky sent after that with all the PFF numbers of his snap count, where it was 39.
Yeah,
he's playing 40 snaps already.
Yeah,
he's playing less than 40 snaps per game.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
honestly, those are the kind of guys I'm glad are gone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even care. I didn't even care to check up on Simeon Barrow. I guess he is going to Miami, so he's actually there. Good for him. But really, all I care about now, I'm an old receiver. Ricky White is like a preseason All-American, which is crazy.
Good for him.
Wouldn't pay to keeping him, but well, he would have still been it would have been behind Keon, Jaden Reed, Jalen Naylor still. I mean,
probably would have been gone by now if we kept him.
Yeah,
I would think so.
Yeah.
But Yeah, so then now let's go to the quarterbacks, really the only other ones I care about. Let's start with Sam Leavitt, the starting quarterback of Arizona State. I think we all kind of knew he was probably the most talented one of the group after seeing him play some brief minutes. Obviously redshirted, which I don't blame him. Left because he basically knew that Jonathan Smith would choose Aiden Childs over him, which fair. I made fun of him about it at first, but that's extremely fair.
Reasonable. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with the whole redshirt situation. I'm sure he probably didn't want to burn it, and the coaching staff probably did right by him. There's part of me also that's like so damning on that coaching staff that the third quarterback that we were playing is the only one now that's going to be a starter. Yep. Out of the three. It was very clear that he was the most talented. There was just a little more pop to the offense when he was in. So obviously I think there was other factors in play there. But there's also part of me that just wants to hammer that coaching staff from last year. Who knows what games we could have flipped, if he was in.
Yeah. He's also the only one of them at a Power 5 school or Power 4 school. The other ones are G5 backups. So we were playing most of our season with G5.
Literally our entire
G5 backups
and snaps.
Yeah.
This is why I can't buy the 5-win kind of thing. Like literally we had Eastern Carolina's backup as our better option last year.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that Hauser didn't turn out to be as good as we kind of thought he was. I mean,
we were all really high on him.
Yeah, it's too bad. There's still time for him, but you're not starting at Eastern Carolina. That's not.
That's a telling sign. There,
Yeah.
I mean, we even said when he transferred, like, man, set yourself some higher standards. Like, it would probably be better to be a backup here.
Yeah, I'm now thinking like absolutely could have stayed and backed up Childs.
I think Tommy Schuster might be better than Hauser.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably FCS starting quarterback, playoff quarterback. Yeah,
like record-breaking quarterback. Like,
yeah. I mean, he took North Dakota to the playoffs a couple times. Yeah.
Caton did say he hates Michigan for the rest of his life, so he'll always be a Spartan for life. It's too bad it didn't work out. He was in a horrible situation, obviously, last year. But man, this time last year, I was like considering building a shrine for him for when he took us to the promised land.
I think we all were.
Remember that, yeah.
Man, but that's really just all I wanted to have here. So I guess next up, time for America's favorite game.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Miss the This.
I was muted. Willy, take it
all
home.
right, Trav. I think that you might have a lot of success this week.
Didn't sound like it from those text messages, but okay.
No, I think Nicky had a good idea, and perhaps for a later show down the road. But I tried to pick the most obscure schools in the FBS 1A, given that it's the opening. The first couple weeks of the season, you see teams playing some weird teams. So I thought I'd try and stump you on the mascot or nicknames of the most obscure FBS 1A teams.
This will be fun.
So starting with the first one, Arkansas State.
They are the Red Wolves.
That is correct. All right. Charlotte.
49ers.
Okay. See, we're off to a tough start here. Coastal Carolina.
Chanticleers.
Yeah, that was one of the easier ones, I thought. All right, Georgia Southern.
They are the Eagles.
Yeah, got that one too. Okay, Jacksonville State.
Gamecocks.
Okay, this is too easy. Kennesaw State.
Ooh, they're new, so that's probably the one you're gonna get. I think they are also the Eagles. I don't really know that one.
Not too far off. They're the Owls.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They're the newest FBS team. So
yes, they are.
Yes.
Thought I could get you on one at least. Okay.
Yeah.
These
definitely.
next two could be easy. They always trip me up because I'm never sure which one is which. Louisiana Lafayette.
That is the Raging Cajuns.
Yeah. Louisiana Monroe.
I believe they're the Warhawks.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Middle Tennessee.
Blue Raiders.
Bad people.
All right. Old Dominion.
Monarchs.
Oh, wow, you're cruising here. Sam Houston State
Bearcats.
with a K.
With a K, yes.
Pretty easy one here. San Jose State.
Spartans.
Just rolling off here. Southern Miss.
Golden Eagles.
UTEP.
Miners.
UTSA.
Roadrunners.
Georgia State.
Panthers.
Okay, what the hell?
University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Blazers.
Okay, that was a pretty clean 16 for 17 there.
Yeah.
I've got a bonus round.
All right.
Moving
Let's
over
go.
to FCS.
Yes.
All right. This one I think is easy.
How many we got here?
6.
Okay.
Youngstown State.
Penguins.
Mercer.
Their logo's a bear. Bruins.
They're Bears.
Bears.
Oh,
Okay. I don't know. Those, yeah.
South Dakota.
Just normal South Dakota.
Yep.
That would be. Oh gosh, I could see it. The Coyotes. It's a paw.
Yep.
Yeah.
Spot on Coyotes.
Yeah.
Sacramento State.
Hornets.
God dang it. Drake.
Bulldogs.
North Dakota.
They are the Fighting Hawks now, I believe.
That is correct. 5 for 6. I mean, we had to get better.
I had the logo in my head. I just couldn't get it. Yeah.
that was crazy. That was a bloodbath. That was Michigan State, Iowa State 2017.
Well, I'll have to put some more thought into next week's.
So I guess last thing we got here. Let's get us the picks, Willie.
That's right. Everyone's favorite time of year.
You're gonna have to send me the music for next week then, or whatever.
Yeah, we'll
Get it
get
in there,
that.
'cause I don't have it in there for this week.
Oh,
Yeah.
We weren't prepared for week 0.
Yep.
4 games on Saturday. 4 games? Yes, 4 games.
Yes, there's 4.
Yep. 4 games. The first one we have to kick off the season. My wife's favorite team, the Florida State Seminoles, are traveling to Ireland along with the Georgia Tech, the Rambling Wreck from Georgia Tech, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Florida State coming in ranked number 10. They are favored by 10.5. The game will be played at noon. It is the Aer Lingus College Football Classic at Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland. Again, Florida State is favored by 10.5. Travis, start with you.
Do I just start chopping now?
Oh,
Yeah.
Florida State.
Seminoles. I'll take it. Yeah.
Nicky.
I mean, nothing reminds me of Ireland like the Florida State Seminoles.
I know.
Give me a round.
Yeah, really classic. 2 classic Irish teams, Georgia Tech and
Yeah. Seminoles and Yellow Jackets.
yeah, I would take Florida State as well. It's kind of a weird line, but I'm very interested to see how DJU does with. Interested to see how he progresses after Jonathan. I thought Jonathan Smith did a great job with DJU. It'll be very interesting to see what Mike Norvell does. Mike Norvell did a great job with Jordan Travis, so
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see how that plays out. All right, the next game, 4 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. Montana State travels to New Mexico to take on the Lobos. This is played at University Stadium in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Montana State comes in as an 11.5 point favorite.
With this, I'm gonna go Montana State. I thought about picking against the spread there, but Montana State is usually a championship contender in the FCS.
Yep.
Whereas New Mexico, not a great football team.
The Lobos will cover.
I am with Nicky here. I'm going to take the home team and the points in this one. All right, third game of the day. We get into the primetime spot. This one, a team close to home for you two. The SMU Mustangs are traveling to Reno, Nevada to take on the Nevada Wolfpack. We played at Mackey Stadium in Reno, Nevada at 8 p.m. Eastern. SMU is favored by 25.
I am very high on SMU this year. That is my ACC sleeper team. They have everybody back, pretty much everybody back from last year's 11-win team.
Yeah.
And they added a bunch of very, very good defenders from Ohio State and Miami and Texas A&M and those big programs. So SMU very much going to win that game, going to cover.
The Methodists will cover.
The Methodists from the South. I'll be contrarian here. I'll take the points. I'll go Nevada.
Nevada's won 4 games the past 2 years.
Yeah, I don't need them to win. Just need them to
that.
cover.
Yeah.
This will be number 5.
I just
need them to cover.
last year,
24.
you want to know how many passing touchdowns they had last year? 6.
It was
That's not
That's not a lot of passion.
Well, now you're making me rethink this. Yeah, I'll stick with Nevada. I like to bet against those teams that everyone's high on in this early weeks. SMU can win by 24. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. The final game would have been formerly known as Pac-12 After Dark. We have Delaware State traveling to Hawaii. There's some question marks about whether this game is going to happen or not. If Delaware State missed their flight or something, and they might not be able to make it. So we'll see if this one actually gets played. 11:59 p.m. here on the East Coast. The game will happen at Clarence T.C. Ching Athletics Complex in Honolulu, Hawaii. The Rainbow Warriors, or formerly known as the Rainbow Warriors, are favored by 40.
Oh, shit.
Ooh, I was all ready to pick Hawaii, but no, I'm going to go Delaware State.
Brother.
Yeah, 40. Whoa, 40 is a lot. I'll go Delaware State, even with the conditions.
Boy.
Yeah. That's 40 is a big number. I'm gonna have to go DSU.
All right. I don't think this game's going to happen, but in the event that it does, I will take Hawaii just to be the contrarian here.
Polynesian U.
Who knows what those Delaware body clocks are going to be like?
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah. All right, so that'll do it for the first week 0. I'll do a better job tracking this year, and we'll figure out some kind of stakes.
Pretty sure I won last year. But
I think you did.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think you did.
Yeah.
Well, to me, to you, to Spartans, all through and through, have a great week 0. Go green.
Please enjoy. Go white. 9 more days, baby. 9 more days.
9 days. Kenneth Walker.
We're back, baby.
Michigan State's making the playoffs.